Her hands were thin, the veins prominent, her skin worn like a well-read book. But when she looked at me, there was a fire in her eyes that told me she had lived, truly lived. At 92, she had no filter left. No need to impress, no reason to lie. I asked her, if you could tell young men one thing, what would it be? She smiled, shook her head slowly, and whispered, Son, most of you are chasing all the wrong things. She didn't talk about money first, or success, or looking handsome. She spoke about how men are starving inside, lonely even in a room full of people. She told me how a man can have 6 figures, 6 abs, and still feel empty if he hasn't mastered his inner world. She spoke about the quiet power of patience, the danger of giving your heart to the wrong woman, and the rare beauty of a man who can stand alone without breaking. Today, I'm sharing her 6 pieces of wisdom, not theories, but truths forged from 9 decades of wins, losses, and lessons. If you're a man who's tired of feeling lost, tired of the shallow games, and ready to build something real, lean in. Because once you hear this, you'll never see your life the same way again. Young man, I need you to hear me. The world is not short of charming men, smooth talkers, or people who can make others smile. But here's the hard truth. Being liked is not the same as being respected. Being liked is cheap. It's quick. It can be bought with a joke, a compliment, or by bending yourself into the shape others want you to be. But that kind of approval is fragile. It disappears the moment you stop giving people what they want. A respected man, however, stands differently. He moves differently. People might not always like him in every moment, but they know where he stands. They know his boundaries. They know his yes means yes, and his no means no. The 92-year-old woman told me this. A man who tries to please everyone will please no one, and in the end, he will not even respect himself. You see, when you chase being liked, you hand over your self-worth to other people's moods. One day you're amazing because you agreed with them. The next day you're selfish because you set a boundary. You start living in a prison of other people's opinions. But when you chase respect, something shifts. You stop saying yes just to avoid conflict. You stop apologizing for who you are. You start making decisions based on your values, not on what will make people smile in the moment. And here's the irony. When you focus on respect, you often end up being liked even more, but for the right reasons. People admire strength, even if they don't always agree with you. If you're struggling in dating, this is one of the biggest game changers. Women may enjoy the attention of a people pleaser for a short time, but they're drawn deeply to men who live by principle, not arrogance. Not ego, but a quiet, steady confidence that says, I know who I am and I won't trade it for approval. Respect lasts. It travels with you into business, relationships, and friendships. It's your armor when life tests you. And it begins the day you stop asking, will they like me? And start asking, will they respect me when I walk away? Young man, let me tell you something that the 92-year-old woman leaned in and whispered with an almost painful seriousness. A man can earn more money, but once his heart is broken by the wrong woman, it can take years, sometimes decades, to rebuild. We live in a culture where men are taught to guard their wallets, protect their assets, and lock their doors at night. You'll keep your PN number secret. You'll hide your savings. You'll make sure no one can take what you've worked for. But your heart, too many men hand it over without question. You meet a woman who makes you laugh or gives you attention, and suddenly she has access to everything. Your emotions, your trust, your future, without proving she's earned it. You give her the keys to your soul before you even know if she's capable of holding them without breaking them. And when it goes wrong, you're left not just with heartbreak, but with a deep scar that changes the way you see yourself in every relationship after it. Guarding your heart isn't about being cold, bitter, or unloving. It's about being wise. It's about observing how a woman handles stress before you trust her with your vulnerability. It's about seeing how she treats people who can do nothing for her. It's about paying attention to her character when she thinks you're not watching. The wrong woman can drain you faster than a financial scam. She can pull you away from your goals, poison your peace, and convince you that you're the problem while she's quietly destroying you. But the right woman, she'll protect your heart with you. She'll value your trust as if it were gold. She'll inspire you to grow, not manipulate you into shrinking. So guard your heart the way you guard your wallet. Don't give it to strangers. Don't hand it over without proof of trustworthiness. And never put it where it can be easily stolen. Love deeply, yes, but only when you know that the one you're giving it to would guard it as fiercely as you do. Because once your heart shatters, money can't buy back the years you'll spend putting the pieces together again. The elderly woman looked me straight in the eye and said, "If you can't sit in silence with yourself, you'll cling to the wrong people just to avoid being alone." And I realized how many men are living exactly like that, trapped in relationships, friendships, and situations that drain them simply because the idea of being alone feels unbearable. We've been trained to believe that constant company equals happiness, that if you're not surrounded by people, something must be wrong with you. But here's the truth, the inability to stand alone is one of the biggest reasons men end up in toxic situations. When you're afraid of solitude, you start settling. You tolerate disrespect. You stay in the wrong relationship because you fear the quiet of an empty apartment. You hang out with guys who drag you down because being in a bad crowd feels safer than being in no crowd at all. Standing alone isn't about isolating yourself forever. It's about developing the strength to enjoy your own company so you never need anyone just to feel okay. When you can go to a restaurant alone, take a trip by yourself, or spend a Friday night at home without feeling like a failure, you become dangerous in the best way. Because now, when someone enters your life, they're there because you choose them, not because you need them to fill a void. You'll be able to say no to bad relationships without fear. You'll walk away from toxic environments without hesitation. The woman told me, "A man who stands alone is a man who can't be manipulated." And she was right. When you don't fear being alone, no one can use your loneliness against you. So, young man, practice solitude. Use it to learn who you are when no one's watching. Reflect on your goals. Heal from past pain. Build hobbies, skills, and routines that make you feel alive without needing an audience. Because the day you realize you'd rather be alone than with the wrong people, that's the day you step into a strength most men never find. And that strength will protect your future more than any relationship ever could. The 92-year-old woman leaned back, folded her hands, and gave me a look that said she was about to tell me something most men never understand until it's too late. "Pretty fades," she said softly. "Peace doesn't." And with those 3 words, she cut through one of the biggest traps young men fall into. From the time you're a teenager, you've been told that the ultimate prize is the most beautiful woman in the room. Society pushes it in your face. Movies, music videos, social media, all screaming the same message: if she's gorgeous, you've won. But here's the truth: beauty will catch your eye. Peace will keep your soul. I've met men with the most stunning women on their arm, yet they look tired, drained, and broken. Why? Because beauty without peace is chaos in disguise. She might turn heads, but if she turns your life into constant drama, insecurity, and emotional battles, that beauty becomes a prison. Peace, on the other hand, is quiet. It's steady. It's the calm in the storm that allows you to think clearly, focus on your goals, and come home at the end of the day knowing you're safe, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. The woman told me, if a man sacrifices peace for beauty, he will pay for it with years of his life. And I've seen it happen, men giving up their dreams, their health, and their happiness to keep up with a relationship that looks good in pictures, but feels like walking on glass. This doesn't mean beauty is bad. Physical attraction matters. But when choosing a partner, peace must be non-negotiable. Does she listen without turning every disagreement into a war? Does she bring stability instead of chaos? Does she inspire you to grow, or does she keep you exhausted and on edge? Chase the woman who gives you peace, even if she doesn't fit the Instagram mold. Because years from now, when faces change and bodies age, you won't remember the perfect angles. You'll remember how she made you feel when life got hard. Beauty fades. Peace doesn't. And the man who chooses peace will live longer, love deeper, and sleep better than the one who chose the prettiest storm he could find. The elderly woman didn't hesitate when she said it. A man's promises are the mirror of his soul. In 9 decades of living, she'd seen men who could fight, build, and lead, but she told me the rarest kind of man is the one who does exactly what he says he will do. Your word is more than just sound. It's the foundation of your reputation. It's the invisible contract you sign every time you make a commitment. Whether it's to a friend, a woman, a business partner, or even to yourself. When you break that word, you're not just failing someone else. You're quietly eroding your own self-respect. You're teaching yourself that your voice doesn't matter, that your promises are disposable. And soon, others will believe the same. In today's world, where talk is cheap and most people make promises they never intend to keep, the man who honors his word stands out like gold in the dirt. If you say you'll be there at 8, show up at 7:55. If you say you'll call. If you tell yourself you'll hit the gym 3 times this week, don't negotiate your way out of it when you're tired. Your word is not just about big commitments. It's about the small, consistent choices that tell people you're reliable. And here's the truth: a man who cannot keep his own promises to himself will eventually struggle to keep them to anyone else. The elderly woman put it simply, when you speak, make it count. And when you commit, move heaven and earth to honor it. This doesn't mean you can never change your mind or that life won't throw curveballs. But if you must break a promise, own it. Apologize without excuses. Make it right. Because one day, long after you're gone, people will tell stories about you. And those stories will either begin with, you could trust that man with anything, or he meant well, but you could never rely on him. Choose to make your word your bond. Choose to be the man whose promises aren't just noise in the air, but bricks in the foundation of a legacy that will outlive you. The 92-year-old woman smiled when she said it, but her voice carried weight. Don't wait for the right woman to make you better. Be better now. Too many men are stuck in a holding pattern, living half-hearted lives while they wait for someone to come along and complete them. They think love will be the switch that turns everything around. That once she arrives, they'll finally get in shape, finally chase their dreams, finally start living with purpose. But here's the truth: if you're not building a fulfilling life on your own, a relationship won't fix you. In fact, it will expose the gaps even more. A woman may enjoy the early spark, but over time, she'll see the reality: you have no passions, no goals, no fire that exists beyond her. That's not attractive. It's pressure. Building a life worth inviting someone into means you already have purpose, structure, and joy before anyone else steps in. It means you're cultivating friendships that support you, hobbies that challenge you, and goals that excite you. You have your own rhythm, your own values, your own sense of identity. When you live like that, you stop searching for someone to save you. Instead, you look for someone who adds to what you've already built, someone who can walk beside you, not carry you. The elderly woman told me, love is a partnership, not a rescue mission. If you're waiting for a woman to give your life meaning, you're setting her up to fail and yourself up for disappointment. Think of your life as a home. Right now, is it a place someone would feel inspired to enter? Or is it empty, cluttered, and in need of repair? Don't invite someone into chaos. Fix the leaks, clean the space, build it strong. And here's the beauty. When you build that kind of life, you won't just attract better relationships. You'll attract better everything, better opportunities, better friendships, better health. Because a man who is whole on his own doesn't need love to survive. He chooses love because he's already thriving. And that, my friend, is the kind of man no good woman ever wants to let go.